The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A story that came out earlier this afternoon about a man and his 3-year-old son has now been resolved in Barton County. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Chris Warner. Officials with the Barton County Sheriff's Office say that the 3-year-old boy has been located. Earlier today, they reported that a man by the name of Dalton Freeze had taken his 3-year-old son yesterday out for ice cream and did not return. However, this afternoon, or later this evening rather, they reported that the son, the 3-year-old, had been returned to the family at this time. There are no further updates available right now, but we will keep you updated if anything else comes in. One man is dead following a crash in Rogers County around 3:30 this afternoon. Officials with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol say 53-year-old David Horton of Claremore was riding his motorcycle on Oklahoma 66 just north of Claremore when he lost control and crashed. Horton was pronounced dead on the scene. A group consisting of mostly high school students gathered in Nevada today to bring awareness to people who have recently lost their lives during police encounters. KOAM's Bronte Saratsky spoke with a group of protesters on the impact of young people's lives in creating change. And we'll have that story a little later in our newscast. A big week ahead in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. The prosecution and defense are set to make closing arguments tomorrow. Then jurors will decide if Chauvin is guilty of murder for the death of George Floyd. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry has more from Minneapolis, where tensions are high.
During closing arguments, prosecutors will work to convince the jury that George Floyd died because Derek Chauvin pressed his knee against his neck for more than 9 minutes. The defense will likely argue again that other factors, including drug use and health issues, caused Floyd's death. Floyd family attorney Ben Crump was asked what he would say if a not guilty verdict is returned.
I would say, once again, the American legal system has broken our heart, and that we cannot condone this excessive use of force, America.
During 3 weeks of testimony, the jury heard from 45 witnesses and saw hours of video of Floyd's arrest played again and again. Chauvin, who listened closely and took notes throughout the trial, invoked his constitutional right not to testify. The jury will be sequestered during deliberations.
As the case wraps up, Minneapolis has launched one of the largest security operations in Minnesota history, with thousands of officers and National Guard troops already on patrol.
Tensions are also high after last Sunday's shooting of 20-year-old Dante Wright during a traffic stop in nearby Brooklyn Center. Former officer Kimberly Potter faces a manslaughter charge.
There is no justice for Dante Wright. True justice would be him here with us today. Yes. Being with his family, raising his son.
On Sunday, a multiracial coalition of women and mothers called for Potter to also be charged with murder. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Prosecutors in the Chauvin case will make closing arguments first. There are no time limits, but both sides are likely to avoid risking juror fatigue. Despite the Center for the Arts is mourning the loss of its former executive director, Mary Jo Mueller. Jo, as she was known to the center and many in the area, was the director for 12 years before retiring in 2015, and she expanded SPIVA's membership base, community outreach, and a number of other programs. The center says Jo will be lovingly remembered for her smile and laugh, her grace, and her abounding love of the arts. Nick Kelly joining us on what was a not-so-bad day compared to what we've seen before. We saw a little bit of sunshine today.
I know, we're taking baby steps in the right direction, Chris. The rain chances, though, they were a little stubborn to let go. But like you said, the pockets of sun certainly helped us out with temperatures. 45, that was the coldest we were, thankfully, to start this morning out. And the high of 60, not bad. Still shy of our average high of 71. But we're going to make a run for that tomorrow before we see another round of changes whirling in as we head toward the middle of the week. I don't have anything on the radar right now. The backside of our last storm system's well to the east of us now, so any rain chances we had during the day, they're all gone now. But our focus is on the next storm system, which has already prompted winter weather advisories for Coffee and Anderson counties until Tuesday morning, and a freeze watch for everyone else because the cold temperature is waiting for us on Wednesday morning. So plenty of changes to discuss and full weather coming up, but at least we're sitting in the mid to upper 40s right now. And the look at the day tomorrow, Chris, has us sitting near 40 degrees during the overnight, and not bad tomorrow. Highs right back around 70. We're going to focus on our next chance for rain and snow, especially on our Tuesday coming up in just a little bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. Well, 4 state music lovers got to enjoy an outdoor concert this evening at the PSU campus. That's because Pitt State's Southeast Kansas Symphony hosted a Sunday in the Park show featuring tunes from The Sound of Music, The King and I, Phantom of the Opera, Moulin Rouge, and many more. Symphony contains a wide array of talent with members including PSU students, faculty, and staff, and regional artists and even music students from Pittsburgh and Riverton high schools also performed.
As you can see them, they're very excited, very excited. You know, musicians, we love our audiences. We play for people, we play for them, you know, and we want that response every time we perform. So kids are very excited about it. Not only performing for audiences, but performing among themselves, because we were limited last semester, you know, last year, through the whole year, 2020, we were limited to the amount of students to play together. So now having an orchestra this size is really great.
The director also says the show is meant to provide a sense of celebration and hope as the community continues to make progress fighting the pandemic. We take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Private First Class Gottlob Lehr served with the Army from 1943 to 45 in World War II and was in D-Day, his hometown, Walker, Missouri. We are proud to recognize Gottlob Lehr, tonight's 4-state hero. Of course, remember to learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own. Just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at our top stories and a quick check of the forecast on the KOAM News at 10. Still ahead, Joplin Mayor Ryan Stanley weighs in on the city's response to the pandemic over the past year. Now back to our story out of Nevada. A group consisting of mostly high school students gathered in Nevada today to bring awareness to people who have recently lost their lives during police encounters. KOAM's Bronte Saratsky spoke with the protesters on the impact of young people's involvement in creating change.
Demonstrators with signs reading "No Justice, No Peace," and how many more could be seen while driving alongside Earp Park in Nevada Sunday afternoon. Their goal, to bring awareness to those who have recently lost their lives during police encounters.
One thing that we need to bring attention to is that this entire brutality thing is terrible. There's the hate in this area, and just we can't do that, right? If we have nothing except love, and that's what we need to be focusing on.
Although recent deaths that have garnered national attention haven't been in this area, organizers say there's still importance in talking about them in Missouri.
So it's a message here saying, guys, we need to be focusing on this because this is an issue. This is an issue in our great state of Missouri, and it's an issue that we don't want in Nevada, Missouri, and we don't want it in the surrounding areas either.
Many people who came out today were in high school or young adults.
When it comes down to it, it's really important that we get the youth involved, and I'm so proud to see younger people in our community step out for what they believe in and show compassion for others.
Especially when the young people start talking, the older people start listening, and that's the main thing that we need to focus on. Is if these older folks can just hear us out a little bit, we'll be able to make actual change.
They say protests like these have engaged conversations in the community that otherwise may not have happened.
That this has an impact on the community that is extremely positive. We saw it within our last protest that bringing out this strong opinion of compassion and love towards each other, it started all of these conversations, and we loved being able to see people come out and ask these difficult questions, for some of them for the first time. And so we're hoping to continue that conversation.
Through listening to the community's youth and creating discussions, the group out today aimed to create more unity within their town. In Nevada, Bronte Saratsky, KOAM News.
Organizers said that although they believe some people in the community would not be happy with their event, they didn't want speaking on these issues to be treated as a trend, which is why they continue to bring awareness to them. As we continue connecting communities in our area, we return to Joplin and Joplin's Mayor Ryan Stanley. We had an opportunity to chat with him about the city's response and the community's response to the pandemic over the last year. The mask mandates implemented by the city were a point of heated discussion and debate among residents. Mayor Stanley says that was a good thing, knowing there was this even balance of people for and against the mandate. Now, looking back, Mayor Stanley says he wished they had set up the ordinances differently.
I think the smarter move would have been push it out into the future as far as possible and then rescind it whenever the timing is right to rescind it. That's one thing I wish we would have done the first mask ordinance. The second one that came in November, obviously we put out till the end of February, and we tried to put it in as long as we possibly thought we could to feel like when it expired, it was going to be an okay time for it to expire.
And then comes the lockdown, when communities across the nation began to shut down, which eventually included Joplin. There's been debate on whether or not the nationwide lockdowns were done too early before the coronavirus really began to sweep across the country. While Missouri led the charge for its communities, Mayor Stanley wishes things could have been different.
I think that if I could redo anything, I would not have sheltered in place in March or in April into May. But also, the state was kind of taking us that direction, so we were along for that ride. I would have done that at a different time if we were going to do it. I almost might have argued that we wouldn't have done it if I could do hindsight 2020.
And as we're entering what many hope are the final hurdles of the pandemic, as vaccines continue to roll out to those who want them and life slowly starts to look a little more like normal, Mayor Stanley says he's proud of how the Joplin community, how the citizens have responded to the pandemic, and how adaptable they've been to the ever-changing situation.
This was a challenging scenario. I think Joplin handled it fine. Our numbers are improving and we're moving in the right direction. Our vaccination numbers are some of the highest in the state, which is really impressive. I would have been surprised if you would have told me 3 months ago that our vaccination numbers were going to be leading the state, but they are.
Well, sunny, cloudy, warm, cold, a mix of it all today. Nick Kelly tells us what the week ahead holds next.
We continue making baby steps in terms of improving our weather setup throughout the day today, even though we had some lingering showers across a few spots across the area. We all started mostly cloudy this morning, but the time-lapse from Indigo Sky showed how we went from partly sunny skies throughout the day and eventually mostly sunny skies right up until sunset. So all in all, it looked like a pretty decent day, at least to end the day with and the weekend with. Nothing on the radar network right now, and it's nice to see a clean, dry scan once the backside of our last storm system finally dragged the last of the rain chances and even the cloud cover out of here. So even though we're looking quiet for tonight and Monday, it won't be so quiet as we go toward the middle of the week. Winter weather advisories are already out for Anderson and Coffee counties on the Kansas side until 10 a.m. Tuesday, and everyone else has to deal with the freeze watch until Wednesday morning. All signs that Mother Nature wants to send another quick taste of winter our way, even though we're officially in the spring season. At least we're in good shape right now. Cool, sure, but we're at 47 underneath clear skies in Joplin and a calm breeze as well. Most spots in the Joplin metro are sitting mainly between 46 and 48 degrees. Most of us outside of the metro are kind of in the same boat, mid to upper 40s before we hit 1019 on this Sunday night. Thankfully, though, we don't drop off a whole lot more. We'll drop back near 40, some spots in the upper 30s, but we'll all bounce back near 70 for a mild and nice Monday to enjoy before changes roll right back in once again. Let me break down the surface setup for you. We're all keeping our eyes on this cold front because once it starts working in tomorrow night, that's what's going to bring back colder air to take us through Tuesday and Wednesday. But for tomorrow, we're headed the front along with high pressure giving us a southwest wind. That'll help push highs back near 70. And then once that cold front rolls through, this upper low near Winnipeg, that's going to be the main driver to bring in more force, more lift, more moisture to result in rain and snow chances for Tuesday. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about anything coming our way overnight, mostly clear skies, but a bit cold. Most of us in the upper 30s to near 40 to start Monday morning out. Everyone's ahead of the cold front as it starts to try to edge northern counties for tomorrow afternoon. But again, everyone's ahead of the front, mostly sunny skies and a southwest wind means temperatures will respond nicely to that. 40 in the morning, 64 by noon, afternoon highs around 70. I think we're dry as this initial front rolls on through as we get Monday evening started, but mid to upper 40s at midnight, dropping into the mid to upper 30s for Tuesday morning. That'll lead to a rain-snow mix to start Tuesday morning out. And with more colder air upstairs, even though surface temperatures will be above freezing, we could have this moisture come down as snow, but it wants to mainly melt on contact before we switch back over to mainly rain chances Tuesday afternoon. So with that in mind, we're not expecting a big snowstorm with Tuesday's wave rolling in. You can see how the snow tracker at first glimpse is in line with what I'm thinking. Anything tries to accumulate, it's grassy and elevated surfaces. Most spots less than an inch, and anything greater than an inch, you have to travel north on Nevada and Fort Scott, and certainly near Kansas City and Topeka. Once we get behind that system, we drop to 29 Wednesday morning, 53 on Wednesday, 56 on Thursday. We'll watch for another system with rain and storms Friday and Saturday, Chris, but fortunately, we are back well into the 60s by next weekend.
Just this random winter spill there, and then all of a sudden it's spring again.
That sounds like a usual April week around here.
It sounds it, Nick. Thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State baseball both finish up series today. Plus, Crowder heads into the final stretch of their season. The Rough Riders look to add on to their 28-game winning streak today. Danny Terzer has it all next.
Missouri Southern takes the field today to finish up a 3-game series against Northeastern State. The two teams split a pair of games on Saturday. That kept the Riverhawks in second place in the MIAA standings, with the Lions right behind them in third. With the Lions win today, they could claim the second place spot. Missouri Southern trailing in the second, 2 outs with runners on. Matt Miller comes up big here, drives it into the right corner. Clay Milas and Dexter Swims score. It's a tie ball game. Then C.D. White for the Riverhawks. A bomb to right. Northeastern takes back the lead. In the 6th, it's 8-6 Hawks. Tommy Stevenson sends it out of the park. 3-run home run. Lions back on top. They'll stay there. Henry Kuziak gets a walk-off homer, and Missouri Southern grinds out the 10-9 win. Speaking of MIAA standings, PSU is right there in the mix in the 4th place spot. The Gorillas split their doubleheader on Saturday against the Jets. Pitt State looking for another win against Newman today. Top of the 3rd, John Kufal with a shot to center. That brings home Hayden Vandepol. Jets lead by 1. Pitt responding. Cruz Aranda sends it to far right for a triple. Aaron Jurd scores. Then the wild pitch here. Aranda comes home. Gorillas take the lead. In the 4th, Jurd's up the middle. Passes by 2 infielders. Caleb Carr rounds 3rd and heads home. The Gorillas go on to take the final game of the series, 5-1. Crowder College takes a 28-game winning streak into the final week or so of the regular season. The Rough Riders are 36-4 after beating Metropolitan twice on the road earlier this week. Today, they host the Wolves for another doubleheader. In Game 1, Rough Riders keep the streak alive. They top the Wolves 7-5. Trey Harris and Rod Chris drive in 2 runs apiece. In Game 2, Rough Riders go for the sweep. Logan Chambers hits it deep center. He races all the way to 3rd. Then Josh Patrick with a grounder. That will be enough for the RBI. Chambers walks in for the tying run. Bottom of the 4th now, 2 outs and bases loaded. You know what that means. Jack Stroth. That ball is gone. Grand slam for Stroth. Rough Riders lead 5-2. The Wolves add another run here. Max Pitt scores. Crowder, though, does it again. They win 12-4. The Lady Riders in action today on the road against Jefferson. Crowder and Jefferson met already once this season. The Rough Riders hosted the Vikings in March and split a doubleheader. In Game 1 today, the Lady Riders keep the Vikings off the board, winning 6-0. Then Crowder gets the sweep. Final score in Game 2 is 14-4. Coffeyville football is 1-1 to start the spring season. The Red Ravens are coming off their first win over Dodge City on the road. Traveling again today, Coffeyville faces Highland. The Red Ravens shut out Highland 30-0. Quarterback Colby Lange airs it out to Corterius Wills for a 75-yard touchdown. Coffeyville also with a few rushing TDs and a safety. That's a wrap on sports. We'll be right back with more news.
Take a look at this. Nevada Highway Patrol got a little surprise Sunday morning. A family of geese was trying to cross a highway. This is video of one trooper helping to move the geese along. No one was hurt, of course. The geese were safely escorted off the highway thanks to Nevada Highway Patrol. I'm sorry, Nevada. We're so used to that in this area. The Nevada Highway Patrol for sharing this video. Speaking of animals, these guys, sheep. People gathered to watch a herd of them cross Highway 55 at Beacon Light in Eagle, Idaho. Asparagus wasn't on their menu, but every year this sheep rancher, Frank Schertz, trails his sheep into the Boise foothills, in mid-April. On April 17th, Schertz moved one band of sheep, about 2,600 ewes and lambs, across Idaho 55 at the Beacon Light Road Junction. The sheep crossed at around 9:30 in the morning as people gathered on the side of the road to take pictures. We've got clearer speech from me and a final check of that forecast right after this. A little bit of snow in our future, Nick.
Yeah, not something I want to say, but that's what Mother Nature has in the cards for us. At least it's not tomorrow. We're mostly sunny, mild, beautiful, highs near 70. Then we'll deal with rain and snow chances on Tuesday. Chris, if you don't want to miss that forecast, I'll have that up in the blog at KOAMNewsNow.com.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. And that's our time for now. Our next news time is 5 a.m. with the KOAM Morning News. And, of course, for the latest news, weather, and sports anytime, anywhere, just head over to KOAMNewsNow.com or get that KOAM News Now app. And thanks for making us part of your night.
If you see news happening,